Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Education Minister defends Jamaica Teaching Council bill. Thousands of primary students sit PEP exams today and tomorrow. And later in sports, track and field coach Corey Bennett set to focus on one school. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon is defending the Jamaica Teaching Council bill following mounting criticisms by the parliamentary opposition. The bill was passed in the Senate on Friday. It seeks to formally establish the Jamaica Teaching Council, which will regulate the teaching profession and issue licenses. Details in this report.
The parliamentary opposition continues to raise concern over the Jamaica Teaching Council JTC bill. Among the issues it says is concern that provisions in the bill may impose burdensome requirements on educators. The opposition has also questioned whether the bill is being rushed. But Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the JTC bill has been in development for over 20 years and subjected to a high level of scrutiny.
It's gone through 3 different administrations, 6 different ministers of education from both sides of the aisle. And in the last 2 years, Minister Williams did a fantastic job in holding 45 different Joint Select Committee meetings, all of which were televised live. So there's been a lot of consultation and a lot of people have given input over the last 21 years. This is as consensus of a bill that as you can see in the Jamaican context.
She says while questions about the bill are welcomed, there have been misplaced concerns about the impact it will have on the teaching profession.
But a lot of what I heard were things that aren't in the bill. So, for example, the bill is very clear that there is a grace period for teachers to register. It's also very clear that you only need to register once every 5 years. The bill doesn't speak to what the registration fee is, but we know it's going to be quite nominal. And I've made that commitment that it will be 0 to nominal. This notion that the bill is being rushed, I don't think 21 years is rushed.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
33,434 students are sitting the primary exit profile PEP exams today and tomorrow. At this morning's post-cabinet press briefing, the Education Minister expressed confidence that the students will perform well. She believes they have been well prepared by their teachers.
That's 17,042 boys and 16,392 girls. We also have 45 students with special needs who are doing the exams, and I'm very happy when I see the numbers and seeing how inclusive we are in terms of having our students with special needs also taking the exam. In terms of accommodations, special accommodations were granted to 556 students, and many people don't realize that the ministry really works with where our children are.
She says the Education Ministry aims to be as accommodating as possible to support students with special needs.
The CEO and her team, they do a fantastic job in ascertaining if students need extra time, for example, if they may need a reader or a shadow with them to help to calm them throughout the exam. And also their accommodations, including printing the scripts in large print or in Braille for those who may need it. So there's a lot of work that's done in terms of accommodating our students, and I want to thank the team at all of our regions that are out there today and that have worked really hard to make the exam process go very smoothly.
Still at this morning's post-cabinet press briefing, Works Minister Robert Morgan provided an update on the South Coast Highway Improvement Project. He says the project is now 90% complete with the Mapen to Williams Field extension finished.
Which is essentially a toll road which is not yet tolled. We have given the public a benefit of no tolling over the last several months. The part B2, Harbourview to Yallahs Bridge, which is a 4-lane highway, is also open to the public, as well as part B3 and 4, Yallahs to Port Antonio, and Morant Bay to Cedar Valley, which is a 2-lane highway, which was divided into 3 tranches. 1 and 2 are substantially complete, and we have minor outstanding works there. And tranche 3 is now significantly complete.
And Mr. Morgan says the government has approved the Port Antonio bypass. This is an $81 million investment. He further announced plans for other road projects.
In terms of capital expenditure, which is aimed at improving transportation in the Kingston metropolitan area, we are almost finished with Grange Lane. Prime Minister would have toured Grange Lane a few weeks ago, so we're 92% complete. That was a $1 billion investment in the parish of Portmore, and we're expecting completion by June of this year. Cabinet has also approved the $2.4 billion Brayton Road to part of the Hellshire Main Road, and this contract has been awarded to S&G, and it will commence in June of this year.
Despite years of advocacy, Manchester Northwest Member of Parliament Michael Phillips says the Ministry of Education is still no closer to delivering on promises to build a new facility for Gully High. The Manchester Northwest Member of Parliament Michael Phillips pointed to the current school's crumbling infrastructure, highlighting that only 5 classrooms are considered habitable, creating an environment that's far from ideal for learning.
We are nowhere closer than we were last year or the year before. We are bursting at the seams. The Gully High School is bursting at the seams. We cannot facilitate no more than 720 students. We are still with only 5 habitable classrooms. We had to abandon one building 2 years ago because of termite infestations and just the safety of our students. We had to build makeshift buildings. The staff room is leaking. The principal's, the administrative block is just inadequate.
Speaking after the school's historic Under-16 netball championship win overseas, the MP praised the team's resilience, saying their success proves that rural students can excel if given proper facilities.
Rural schools in Jamaica don't get the same amount of resources that other schools would have gotten. And to have a sports program, and many times the school itself have to dig deep into small resources in getting even boots or gears for the students.
Over the years, he and the school board have championed the need for a new school, even securing 40 acres of donated land for the project. Now, Mr. Phillips says he's frustrated by the lack of follow-through and is hoping for what he calls a marriage of commitment and action from the ministry.
I have been told by the permanent secretary that they are far advanced in the drawings, but we don't want the engagement, we want the marriage now. We want the Gully High School.
Flow, one of the Caribbean's leading ICT employers, marked International Girls in ICT Day on April 24 with a special recognition ceremony at its Kingston head office. Details in this report.
30 girls and young women from across Jamaica were recently honored for their outstanding contributions to the tech space. Among them, 15-year-old UTech prodigy Jada Wright, 19-year-old AI web developer Maron McPherson, and the Spike Prime Robotics team of sisters Pixie, Zora, and Eve Hall. Flow's Vice President and General Manager Stephen Price underscored the urgency of empowering young women in tech, calling it a necessity for a thriving and inclusive digital future. CEO of the Spectrum Management Authority, Dr. Maria Myers-Hamilton, who was a guest speaker, charged the awardees to listen, have a diversified audience, and to reflect daily.
Continuous development. Continuous development and education stop when you're in the grave. And I don't mean you don't have to be formally in a school or formally in an institution. You can go on courses, because I can tell you, when I started my journey in ICT, the industry was way ahead of what was in UA or UTech. They had punch cards, and We're way past that stage of punch cards. So I had to find my knowledge in the field, trial and error, liaising with engineers, going overseas to conferences, asking questions, being inquisitive, seeking knowledge. You have to be a knowledge seeker.
Now, International Girls in ICT Day celebrated worldwide to encourage girls to pursue careers in information and communication technology, helping to bridge the gender gap in tech. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
And it's time for a break. Stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Operating expenses at Everything Fresh increased from $498.72 million to $621.06 million last year, with the primary driver being increased staffing costs. According to the company's annual report, the additions were deliberate, strategic moves to bolster its non-hotel and hotel-facing teams as it broadened its footprint across all sales channels in Jamaica and Bahamas. The company noted that in addition to staffing, expenses grew across the board due to the expansion of its distribution hub in Bogwalk and upscaling of its delivery fleet. According to chairman of the company, Gregory Pullen, the investments, though reflected in the company's operating cost line, are essential for ensuring its ability to grow efficiently and sustainably. Further afield, U.S. ports are bracing for the impact of President Donald Trump's tariffs. Nearly 10,000 longshoremen, marine clerks, and foremen in California ports are feeling the impact. The port vessels are scheduled to bring goods to the United States next month. The Los Angeles port alone is expecting a 35% drop in imports during the first week of May compared to a year ago. Most of these goods are coming from China. For the Business Minute, I'm O'Shane Masters.
And here's Shamela Pullen with a preview of what's coming up in Wednesday's Health Report.
In this evening's health report, we look at nosebleed.
But sometimes a nosebleed can be an indication of something much more sinister, such as a tumor, which we call a neoplasm inside the nose. And these tumors can be benign, which is not cancerous, or they can be malignant, which is cancerous. So we always tell somebody that if you're having a one-sided nosebleed that keeps on occurring from the same side all the time, then this is something that you need to get checked out, and we need to do something called a nasal endoscopy, where we put a camera inside the nose and have a good look around to detect where the bleeding is coming from.
That's the health report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Stay calm. Try to stay relaxed and avoid panicking. Sit upright. Don't lie down. Lean slightly forward to prevent blood from flowing down your throat. Pinch your nose. Use your thumb and index finger to pinch the soft part of your nose for 10 to 15 minutes. Breathe through your mouth. Keep breathing through your mouth while your nose is pinched. Apply a cold compress. Place a cold cloth or ice pack on the bridge of your nose to help stop the bleeding. And avoid blowing your nose. Don't blow your nose for several hours after a nosebleed.
Time now for the top stories from around the world. In the region, an independent regulatory commission is to be established to police the Citizenship by Investment program in several Eastern Caribbean countries. The leaderships of those countries met in Antigua and Barbuda to discuss issues related to the program, including greater oversight and harmonization. Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerritt, says the draft legislation to set up the commission should be ready by next month to safeguard the integrity of the program. On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has celebrated the 100th day of his second term in office with a campaign-style speech touting his achievements and targeting political foes. Hailing what he called a revolution of common sense, he told a crowd of supporters in Michigan that he was using his presidency to deliver profound change. The Republican mocked his Democratic predecessor, Joe Biden, and aimed fresh criticisms at the U.S. Federal Reserve's chairman while dismissing polls that show his own popularity slipping. Trump has delivered a dramatic fall in the number of migrants crossing illegally into the U.S., but the economy is a potential political vulnerability as he wages a global trade war. And those are the top regional and international stories. And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.